Hey guys, bear with me as I get my Facebook Live set up. Almost there. Okay, we are good to go. Hey guys, my name is Donald McGuinn, and I am coming back to you guys to do another tutorial in X Pro. Let me just double check to make sure everything's good to go. And it looks like it is. So let me know if you guys can hear me. I'll go ahead and wait for some people to show up. In the meantime, take a look at the header. And this is what we are going to be building today. Thanks, Pierre. We're going to be building this header that has a background image, and it has a shrinking logo when you scroll, as well as a search bar that pops up when you scroll as well. Okay. Let's see. I'm still going to wait for a few people to join just before we get going. All right. I know it might be late for some of you all, but this video will be available afterwards. Rick, you're going to have to make your own popcorn. Sorry, buddy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and begin. So as you see, we have a centered logo with a set of navigation on each side. When we scroll through the logo, it shrinks, gets rid of the background, makes the navigation darker, and also a search bar pops up on the side. Right now, I don't have a way to make it a smooth transition between the no background and the background. I've been working on that all this afternoon, and I haven't found a way to do that. I might have to see if you guys know a way to do it, or contact support, and they might be able to help me do that. So let's go ahead and start the process. And if you guys have any questions throughout the video, just let me know. Be more than happy to answer them. Okay, so this is how everything is set up so far. We have a main bar. We technically have two bars. Okay, one is for everything that you see here, and the other bar is for the search. And that's how I achieved the floating as it scrolls. So in the main bar, we have four containers. We have our left navigation, we have our logo, the right navigation, and the mobile right container, which you can only see on mobile. And this is what it looks like as we resize the screen to a mobile format. Okay, and this is just a regular collapsed canvas element from the builder. So right now we have, like I said, those four. And then we have the left navigation. We have an inline. We have a regular image. We have a right nav that has the inline. And then we have, like I said, the navigation collapsed. So from here, inside of the bar that you want to be your main navigation, and I'll get to the Z index of why it's 9998 instead of 9999 once we get to the search function. So right now we need this to be an absolute positioning, and that reason is for also the search navigation. So if you don't want to have this search pop up, then you don't need to have the search the absolute positioning. Sticky bar obviously needs to be on because we want it to stay at the top of the screen no matter what. Background doesn't matter. And then once we click advanced, we're going to go ahead and upload. Right now I have a pattern from a pattern image. So when we click on that pattern, you can see that I actually, I was borrowing that from the website. Let me go ahead and grab that right quick for us, just so that we have that. Just 1 second, guys. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Okay, so we'll go ahead and upload this. And like I said in the event, this is not my design. This credit goes to whoever designed the site, but it was not me. I am just simply copying this because a member in the group needed to figure out how we could do this, and this is a perfect example of how we can achieve something like this. So you're going to go ahead and insert your background image or your background pattern. Okay, and I have it set on repeat for the x-axis, so it's only going to repeat horizontally. And then for the size and position, I contained it to just its actual size, because if I change it to a different kind, like cover or 100%, it starts to look a little weird. So if you do contain, everything's good to go. And top means where you want it to be positioned. With this particular one, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just leaving it with the top. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't really matter with this one. I don't have any upper layer involved because there's no need for it. So I have that, and then we set the height to however big you want it to be. Right now I just have it 12, and that can really be however big you want it. It's not as big as the site that has it originally. That goes down just a little bit more. It also has a top bar, but it goes down just a little bit more. So there's that. Let's see. Okay, so we have the background image there, and we have it set on repeat. So what we want to do is we have our three main containers: the left nav, the logo, and the right nav. So once we have those, we want them to be equal spacing. So we have the self flex set on fill space equally. The horizontal for end, because if we choose center, it's going to be off into the side. We choose start, it'll be all the way to the left, but we want to choose end because we want it to be right up against the logo. Vertical center, keep as normal. Nothing needs to be changed for anything else. And that's going to be the same for the right nav, except that it's going to be start instead of end, because we need that to be closer to the logo as well. So fill space equally, start. And I'm just going through this real quick, and then we'll go ahead and I'll just build this live so that you guys can see it and have all of that. Let me just reply to these comments because no one can see the video. It is live in the main group. Okay, so right there, and then once we also have our mobile right container, and that is only shown on mobile. So you can see that this is only shown on mobile. Okay. Then we have our transparent search with a container and a search inline. So from here, we have it set on Z index of all nines, and that means that it's all the way to the front. And that's the reason we want it like that, because we want it in front of this. Because right now I have the background as a transparent background, because if you set a color to it, you won't be able to see how it drops down like that. So if we set a transparent background, that way you can still see everything else behind it, and this slowly comes down. Set the height. Just kind of adjust until you see that the search is in the middle. The horizontal is at the end, because if we set a center, it's going to be in the middle of the entire bar. Start, you could do a left nav like that. Either one works. But right now we just have it on the end. We want this to be hidden initially, because unless you don't want to, unless you want to have the search there like that, you don't have to. It just kind of makes it all funky. We have it hidden initially so that nobody can see. That's kind of a clean look. And then go ahead and just scroll down and it pops in. The trigger offset just means how much of a delay you want it before you actually see the search. So if we up this a lot, then you won't see the search come in until we almost hit halfway between this white. But if we have the trigger offset a little, then it automatically already comes in way beforehand. So let me just set that back amount. And the shrink amount, you don't need to shrink it because unless you want it to be a different size. Let's see. Let's go ahead and build this. I'm just refreshing to see if I have any comments, or if anybody has any questions. Set an RGBA background color for the sticky version, then set it to for the non-sticky, then transition both on all relevant classes. Okay, Henry, I will definitely try that out. Transition. I did try a transition all before. It did not work out as great as I was hoping. Okay, so you can choose a template. Just so to get started, you could do a standard middle. Okay. And you can work off of this. Just so you don't have to worry about the same width and things of that nature. Because as you can see, these containers are aligned horizontal. You can align them to the end and align this to the start if you want them to be closer. It really all depends on how you want to build your header. So let's go ahead and replace this logo with our own logo. And we want to make sure this is on scaling, because if you don't, it won't shrink when the logo won't shrink itself when you scroll down. Okay, so we want to go ahead and go back to the layout. So we still have this one main bar, and we want to go ahead and get the color for that. So the color that we need is already copied into my clipboard. So we want to go ahead and change the background to the color we need, which is that. You don't have to do this step, but it's just nice to do, unless you're going to have it change from one color to another. This doesn't really matter. Okay, so right now, and then I'll change this height to about 12. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and click on the advanced and do a image. We're going to go ahead and select our background. Actually, yeah, this does need to be transparent. This needs to be x-axis for the repeat, and this needs to be contain. Alright, so in order to get rid of that box shadow, we want to go ahead over here to the bar settings and get rid of that. And that's all the way over here on the back box shadow underneath the bar. Okay, hopefully the archive video is better than the streaming one. I'm sorry to hear that, Kevin. It will be available on YouTube after we are finished live. Okay, so we have that for now. We have our centered navigation, or centered logo with the navigation around it. Right now it's not sticky or anything like that, so let's go ahead and do that part of the tutorial. So we're going to go into the bar settings, and we're going to go ahead and check and turn the sticky bar on. So right now you can see the content is staying the same as we scroll, but we need that to shrink. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the hide initial. No, sorry, not the hide initially. The shrink amount, and this all depends on how small you want your logo to be, and how small you want your logo to be. So it really all depends on your design. You can see that it shrinks. The logo shrinks and the background shrinks. And then we can shrink that more if we want to. It's all up to you. Now you notice how this is in the center, and see how my mouse stays in one spot but it moves this image over. I'll show you guys how to fix that with CSS. But so we want it to shrink about that much, and now we want this background to be a solid color. So let's go ahead and find the CSS on the website in order to go ahead and make this a solid color when you shrink. We're going to go ahead to our CSS section, and let me pull the code from from this website. Okay, so I have all of this, and I'm going to paste this into the live video just so you guys can see it. Let me go ahead and paste it. And I'm going to pin it at the top, I think. Yeah, pin comment. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and paste this up here. Now, as you can see, we have, this is the CSS code that is going to center the logo when it gets scrolled down. The X image preserve ratio. And that's just putting a margin around all the sides. This is adding a background color of whatever you choose to the fixed bar. This does not add it to the bar when you first load the page. This is taking the background image and taking it to a opacity of 0. And then from here we have a couple other things that I'll get to in just a second. Okay, so we have this, and now we have to add one more thing. So you notice that we have the X main bar class here. We want to assign a class to this main bar right here, because if we don't, then everything that we just put into the CSS right here is going to apply this to the search bar that we are about to add in just a minute. All right, so we want to apply this X main bar, sorry, not X main, the main bar only to the bar customize class. Okay, let's see. Let's see why this is not. Let me go ahead and save and refresh just to make sure that there's nothing funky going on. Because I was having problems with live preview earlier this evening when I was doing the search bar. So let's just double check. Okay, so I'm definitely missing something here. Let's see. Real quick while I check this out. It might be that I built the other one from my blank template, and this is actual a template from what Themco had. Let me see something. Okay. So from there we have the shrink, the trigger offset. All right. So once we have all of that, done, we want to go ahead and add the search section. I wonder why it wasn't wanting to apply. Let me just double check a few things. Because I don't want to leave you guys. Hanging. Well, that might be why. There's no CSS. Did I put it in the wrong spot? Okay. I'm not sure why or where that CSS went, but it should work. You guys should be good to go if you guys are following along. Um, so there we go. Let's see. Now we want to go ahead and add the search functionality. So we want to make sure that this initial positioning is absolute. And the reason for that is if we add another bar below, you're going to see that it goes below it. And it's not going to help us if we want the search bar over here. So what we're going to need to do is make sure that this first bar is an absolute positioning. And you can see that now it's over top. Okay. I'm just looking to make sure there's no comments. Okay. It's now absolute positioning. Let's go ahead and give it a transparent background. And you can still see the bottom of it there. Let's go ahead and get rid of this box shadow. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and make it 6.5 is what I feel would be pretty good. So we have that box up there. Let's add our container and add our search module. This also works for social icons too. So if you want to do a search in line, that's fine. But if you also want to do like a button, or if you want to do your phone number, text, I mean pretty much anything, you can just add it and it'll just pop in afterwards. So we want to go ahead and make sure that this floats to the right or the left, however you want. I'm personally going to do to the end. And let's go ahead and make it so that this is on the start and that this is on the end, just because we want to do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this bar a little bit taller. To 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 might be good. And we'll just do this. Okay, so we have the bar, and we want to go to the sticky settings. So we want to turn sticky on. I'm sorry. Yeah, sticky on for that. And we want to go ahead and hide this initially. And it's going to pop in right below. So obviously that's way too high. We need that to be way smaller. Let's like I said, I believe 6.5 was good to go. So let's save this and refresh. This is where I was having the issues with the live view. Thanks, Manuel. Sorry. Okay, so we have that. Let's go ahead and take this bar. Alright, and we want to trigger this offset just a little bit. And this bar horizontal end. And we want this to be 999. Let's see what I have for the other settings. Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll stick with that then. Okay, so we have the transparent search. I was just looking at my other settings that I have for it. And I have this as end. We have this as hide initially. Keep the Z index stack. This doesn't matter. 6.5. There we go. Let's try and do this, and we're going to go ahead and refresh. Yeah, I think this has to do something with did we turn absolute on this? Let's make sure we do that. Yeah, you're right, Rick. The index for the main bar is 9998 and 9999. trying to figure out why this is still below. I have this set on the other one. Like I said, this can get really finicky once you start adding the CSS here. So let me just make sure everything has a main bar. It does. Okay. Absolute sticky bar on. Height of 12. Space between, vertical center. Trigger offset none. Okay, there we go. So on the main bar that has all of this, the z-index stack needs to be checked. So they stack on top of each other. And we have something that goes like that. Just like that. So it shrinks down, comes down, and we can basically do whatever we want with this. So we can get rid of the search, and we can do a social icon. Okay. We can go ahead and we can get rid of that and do a button. And I'm not going to go into the styling of that because that's not what this video is about. But I'll go ahead and add a preset just so you guys can see the different colors. Yeah, there we go. Or like a renew icon or a renew button. So there we go. So you guys can see that it just pops down so that people can learn more. And this can be whatever you want, whatever set you want to be for when it does the offset amount. So I don't know how high we can go on this, but you can go pretty far depending on when somebody gets to what part of the screen. So let's go ahead and do the mobile version, because right now, well, if you use their template, they have a mobile already. But if you don't already have their template, then you'll see that you have to add one more container and then add your navigation inline. I'm sorry, your navigation collapsed. So we'll do that now. So right now you want to make sure that this left nav container, go to customize, and you want to hide it on all of your mobile breakpoints. Okay, and you want to do the same thing for the right container. Go to mobile, go to customize and hide all your breakpoints. From there, it should look something like that. It looks something like this. Okay. You want to go ahead and add your container. And then you want to go ahead and add either your collapsed drop down or modal. I like the collapsed. So we want to do that. We want to make sure that this is hidden on everything that the other ones are not. Okay. On everything that the other ones are not. There we go. So that way, once we get to this screen size, this will automatically have this over here to your right. And in order to get a little bit of a padding over there, we could just do a margin right for that. I'm sorry, not a margin right. Where is it? Yeah, margin right. We want to do something like that, just to get it over to the side a little bit. And then from there, everything still works with the scrolling. And we still have our menu. So that is just a little bit of a tutorial, a rough one. Had a little bit of trouble making this the second time around. This is a little bit of a tutorial on how to have a centered navigation, shrinking, and still be mobile friendly all around. Do you guys have any questions at all? Let me know and I would be happy to try and answer them for you. Don't be shy. So, let's see. I'll figure out if I can find the fading for the background image, because it is a little bit of an abrupt transition. Menu icon, where do you change it? Only see thumb up on mine. Okay, so if you're on the small, and I don't have this hidden on mobile, let me hide that on mobile. Okay, for the menu icon, you just make sure you have that selected. Go to your toggle, go to graphics, and you have 3 to choose from. Make sure it's enabled. You can either do a font awesome icon, a 24 by 24 pixel image yourself, or you could do one of the normal burger grid, more horizontal or more vertical. And I won't go into too much depth into this video on that. We can, if you guys want, we can go ahead and make a different video for it. But essentially you can see all the different options there. I don't have an image icon. I haven't done this yet. I don't know exactly what sizes it needs to be. I'm going to guess 24 by 24 based on these settings. But we can also do an image on that. I mean, a video on that. And then the font awesome icons. Up here, it was on the main. Okay, so in order to change icons on the main, on this navigation right here, you want to go ahead and let's save this. Make sure you have them enabled first. So you want to go to your top links, your graphic, and you want to have them turned on. So you can either have a font awesome or an image. If you turn them off, then they obviously go away. The reason these aren't going away is because it's a different menu. So you can turn them on, and we're going to go ahead to the dashboard. We're going to go to appearance, menus, and when you create a new menu, this one was one that was auto-generated. So when you add items to the menu, you get a section right here where you can pick your icon. You can also put your images here and your width. So however big your images are, Pierre. Did I miss how they have the sticky menus being split? So John, the sticky menus is a template from ThemeCo. And that's all shown in the beginning of the video. And if you want to, and if you have not yet, I would definitely suggest exploring their templates that they have. The settings that they have set up right now, all of the templates are right here so far. And I'm hoping that they add more later on, which I'm sure they will. And we just use the standard middle as the template. Named it however we want, and we got our template right here. You can see how it works up here like this. Let's see. Any other questions for me? And then also, just in case you aren't sure, you can assign headers. You just click on the header and you can assign them to a page, front page, or anything like that. All right, Donald, when using the split menu, how is that done in WordPress? So you basically have to create 2 menus. And that can be a little tedious, but it could also be great for the granular control. So right here you can see on my navigation inline that they have their sample split number 1, and then this one is sample split number 2. You just have to make 2 menus and just have them using separate pages. Just add the pages you want to the left menu, add pages you want to the right menu. And then you just choose them from here. You can see that we have our main menu test that we just created here. And you can see that those are all there. You don't have to assign the menu to any location, like primary or footer menu. That's not necessary when you're building an X Pro anymore. Let me know if you're good there, Donald. So basically, we were trying to replicate this menu with this header, and we did. And from there on, you can add sections below it. Make sure this is an absolute, just like before. You're going to change that Z index to below so that we can get that going. Have your second bar. We can make that 90 vertical height. We can add a pretty cool background image to this as well. Let's see, I don't have a background image, so we'll just use this pattern. So you can see that it takes the shape of those trees, just like in this site. Can a header be saved for use as a part of another header? When you say part of another header, do you mean like, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you explain a little bit more, John? Donald, you said you were going to look into making it smoother transition to right? Correct. There's some CSS out there that you have to put in so that it doesn't just jump like this. I'm sure there's something out there. The current designer did a great job of doing that. And I've been inspecting his code to see how we can replicate that. But it's a little bit different the way that the new builder is built, what the new headers are built. So I'll just have to see if I can find out what they did. That's true, Karen. A lot of the questions will come probably later. I know everyone's asleep. I know it's 11:30 and 12:30 in some places. 6:30 here on the East Coast. Okay, well, with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Feel free to comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions. We're going to go ahead and post this on our YouTube video or our YouTube channel afterwards. Once I get the video rendered, and we'll go ahead and upload that. So thank you guys for sticking around. And if you, like I said, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thank you very much.